Well, alright, starting off part 3 here, I gotta say the cabinet restoration turned out absolutely fantastic. I don't know if you can tell too much. You may have to wait for the HD option, or I gotta say the camera probably isn't going to help it do justice, but everything on this cabinet as far as touch-up went absolutely flawlessly. I cannot believe how fantastic everything ended up turning out. If I didn't know better, I'd say this is a brand spanking new cabinet right off the assembly line. It's just unbelievable how well it turned out. I found a color that matches this dark blue. This dark blue of the side art, I found a color that matches perfectly. It's a GM metallic blue. I don't have it on hand here, it's out in the garage, but I used it to touch up all the edges here. And when it dries, it dries almost perfect. So all the edges are touched up, all the black's touched up. I mean, you can see, except for the fingerprints and whatnot from moving it, that it's just absolutely fantastic. The other side is just as good. I'm thoroughly impressed, and my technique of taping off the midway and then painting it and clearing it also turned out fantastic. I mean, you can see it's great. I don't want to say I've outdone myself, but it's just fantastic. And then you got the front piece here, which I touched up the little nick that was right there. I didn't do anything with the orange. You can see some of the marks on the orange, but otherwise it's great also. I painted the entire front, masked off the machine and painted the front flat black, and then put a gloss on the front just like I did for the midway on the sides. I don't have a light to shine on there, but it's absolutely fantastic also. Let's see if I can show you this side. This side here, you can see this side is turned out awesome also. I'm thoroughly impressed. You know, $100, I can't believe what kind of a deal I ended up with here for $100, plus about $20 in paint and touch-up materials. I'm only at $120 and I've got this fantastic. I'd give it a 10. I would honestly give this a 10 out of 10 as far as quality of cabinet. After I touched it up, that is. And you can go back and review parts 1 and 2 and see how the condition of it was before I touched it up. But you remember that this corner was missing a whole chunk of wood. There's a corner here that's missing a chunk of wood. Filled those in and masked off the midway and painted it. Turned out phenomenal. Even this side, you're extremely hard pressed to find anything wrong with this side art on this side as well. I just can't believe how well it turned out. I got it here in the living room because my game room is full of crap. I'm in the middle of remodeling my bathroom. I got to do the painting and everything, but I mean, you can see it's just, if I had some light to shine on it, it'd look a little better, but I mean, it's just the whole thing. I can't express how great it turned out. So all I got left to do is wire up the control panel when the J-Pack gets here, and then get the computer. I got my monitor situation taken care of. You can see I got no monitor in here. The cabinet is now fully restored as far as cosmetic. Nothing left to do to it, so I'm going to get it in the game room once I get it all cleaned up. And I'll show you here what's in the game room. All this crap here that was in my closet. Now, as far as the monitor goes, I had 2 extra tubes. You can see one of them right here. I had an extra tube here, then I had another one over here underneath this box, which is this right here. So I dug this tube out, I put the frame back on it. I had no chassis. So I had the tube, but no chassis. So I got on the Killer List of Video Games forum, and I posted an ad in the for sale / wanted / trade. I forget the exact thread, but I think that was it. Anyway, I posted in there advertising that I needed a 25-inch monitor chassis, preferably Wells Gardner, because I have a Wells Gardner Zenith tube here. And I think the next day somebody responded and they sold me this K7000 rebuilt for 85 bucks shipped. So altogether I'm into this project for I'd say 100, 120, I'd say 215. I'm in this project for 215 bucks so far, and all I got left to do is buy a monitor. I'm sorry, buy a computer. And it's going to be a plug and play. I'm going to get a case and a motherboard and a CD-ROM drive. I already have an 80 gig hard drive that I'm going to throw in there. So all I need is the motherboard, the case, and some RAM and a CD-ROM drive. So that can't be more than 200 bucks. There's a local place here called Ribbit Computers I can go to. So probably by the time this whole project's over, I'll only be into it for 500 bucks, which is still pretty good for the quality of cabinet I got and everything I want to do to it. But anyway, it's a Wells Gardner K7000, fully rebuilt. Tests good, of course, and the tube is great, and the picture is not that damn bad either. So anyway, I got the this is the monitor that's going to go in the MK2, and everything works just great. I have to figure out some way to isolate the chassis from the frame because it's missing the plastic piece back here that the chassis sits into and the little feet that the chassis screws into. I got to figure out some way to isolate it from the frame, but it's not that big a deal. I'll figure something out. But I got a brand new yoke on it. I spent about an hour doing the convergence. So I'll get this all mounted in the cabinet when I get the cabinet in here in the room. Once I got all this shit cleared out of the way, because I'm remodeling my bathroom, and I'll show you that later, maybe at some point. But all this crap's in the way because I've been doing that. But I'm using the MK1 to test out the monitor because it's got the correct video connection and the correct power connection. And you can see here that I still got the other K7000 and my other monitor in here, so there's no swapping out of anything. I just took off the video connector and the power cord and plugged them onto this one. So you can see I now have a working monitor with a great picture that's going to go in the MK2 MAME project here that I've been talking about. So I'll throw that in once I get the cabinet in, and then all that's left is to wire everything up and get a computer. So we'll see how that turns out. And I want to give many thanks to my friend Big Pete. Big Pete is sending me a brand new arcade VGA card, a breakout cable, and an amplifier, all for free, because apparently I've been helping him out, and he is very appreciative of me helping him out and everybody else in the MK arcade community. So he's showing his thanks by sending me all this stuff for free, and I can't express how much I appreciate it. So that's saving me quite a bit of money there. So once again, I appreciate it. Thanks to him. And once I get all that stuff in the mail and get my computer, we'll get it all wired up, and we'll see how it turns out. So stay tuned for part 4. There might be at least a part 5, because part 4 might be everything wired up and a test run, and then part 5 might be some gameplay. So stay tuned for the next couple of parts, and we'll see how far I can get. So I guess, yeah, stay tuned, and we'll see. Thanks for watching.